Have you ever wondered why those chosen for greatness often have to walk alone and endure the heaviest battles? It's not because they are weak, but because they carry a purpose too extraordinary to simply blend in with the crowd. What if I told you that every rejection, every wound, every fall you've experienced wasn't meant to break you, but to prepare you for something far beyond your imagination? Every stumble, every silent battle has been silently building you into the person destiny is waiting for. And if right now you feel abandoned, misunderstood, stripped away from everything familiar, be patient. Because in that very breaking, God is shaping you, carefully leading you step by step toward the destiny that only you are meant to carry. Chosen, the lonely but glorious journey. There is something profoundly mysterious and sacred about being called, about being chosen. Something not everyone can fully comprehend. When you are set apart for a purpose greater than your own life, it is not just an honor you carry, but a burden that most of the world will never have to bear. The chosen ones, the souls destined for a higher mission, do not walk the familiar paths. They are called to travel rough and rugged roads, and so their journeys are often drenched in solitude. When God calls you, He does not lead you through wide open gates adorned with roses. He does not let you blend into the crowd and find comfort in normalcy. No, He pulls you out. He sets you apart. And in that separation, though necessary, comes isolation, loneliness, and a deep sense of rejection, as if you no longer belong anywhere. But hear me when I say this. You were never meant to fit in. You were called to lead, to pioneer, to carve new paths where none existed before. And because of that, the price of being chosen is always heavy. That burden causes you to see the world through different eyes. You hear things others cannot hear. You perceive sacred visions burning fiercely in your soul that those around you cannot even begin to comprehend. You will try to explain it. You will try to share your vision with those you love the most, but they will look at you as if you are speaking a foreign language. You will plead with them to journey alongside you, but they will shake their heads and turn away. And that right there is where the deepest pain is birthed. Because being chosen doesn't just separate you from the world, it often separates you from the people you love most. Some of you, even now, feel every word of this sinking deep into your spirit. You have sat in crowded rooms filled with laughter, yet felt like a ghost drifting among the living. You have been surrounded by family and friends, and still, your heart felt an unbearable emptiness. Because deep inside, you know you were born for something different, something more. And here is the truth you must cling to. That feeling is not a mistake. That loneliness is not a punishment. It is a divine sign that God is doing something inside you that He is not doing in everyone else. When you are chosen, you cannot live like everyone else. You cannot think like everyone else. You cannot move like everyone else. That is why you struggle to fit in. That is why you feel disconnected. It is not because something is wrong with you, it is because you are different. God has planted a sacred seed inside you, a vision, a dream, and for it to grow, you must be set apart. What He is building within you demands a higher level of focus, discipline, and absolute obedience. It requires you to let go of the need to be understood, to release the craving for acceptance. If you look back through history, you will see it clearly. Many of God's greatest were forged in isolation before they were elevated. Think of Moses. He grew up amid the splendor and privilege of Pharaoh's palace, yet deep down, he always knew he did not belong. He was called to lead God's people, but at first he was rejected by those very people. Remember Joseph. He received grand dreams directly from God, yet was betrayed by his own brothers, sold into slavery, and cast into prison. And David, anointed to be king while still a young shepherd boy, yet he spent years tending sheep in the fields, seemingly forgotten, living a life far from the throne promised to him. The pattern is undeniable. Before elevation comes separation. Before the crown comes the breaking. And that loneliness, it breaks you. It brings you to your knees in tears. It strips you down until all that remains is pure, unshakable faith. But make no mistake, the breaking is necessary. Because when God prepares you, He must remove everything that cannot journey with you into your next season. Relationships that were only meant for a time. Habits that no longer serve your purpose. Distractions that muffle His voice. And sometimes, the only way He can do that is to pull you away from everything and everyone you once thought you needed. I understand the loneliness can feel unbearable. I understand there are nights when you bury your face in your pillow and cry out, God, why? Why this heavy burden? Why me? There are moments when giving up feels like the only option, when you whisper in the darkness, maybe I'm just not strong enough for this. But let me tell you today, you are strong enough. You were created for this very purpose. You were chosen for this. And if God has called you, He will surely equip you to carry it. The loneliness you are enduring is not the end of your story. It is the beginning. It is the refining fire for your purpose. It is the sacred ground where God speaks most clearly. It is the training ground for a glory far greater than you can now imagine. So don't resist it. Don't fight it. Embrace it. Because one day when God says, now it is time to walk fully into your calling, you will look back and realize you were never truly alone. God was with you every step of the way, shaping you, molding you, preparing you to step into destiny with strength, wisdom, and unshakable faith. But today I am here to remind you, you are strong enough. You were created for this. You were chosen for this. And if God has called you, He will also equip you with the strength to carry the mission He placed upon your life. The loneliness you are facing right now is not the end of your story. It is the beginning. It is the refining fire purifying your purpose. It is the sacred ground where God whispers the clearest into your soul. It is the battleground preparing you for a glory far greater than anything you can imagine. So do not resist it. Do not fight it. Embrace this season of solitude. Because one day when God says it's time to step into the fullness of your destiny, you will look back and realize you were never alone. God was walking with you, shaping you, molding you every step of the way. When you are rejected, you are being prepared. We've spoken about loneliness, the sacred space where God sets you apart to shape you quietly. Now, the journey unfolds into a new chapter where your deepest wounds become the very launching pad for your greatest destiny. Look at the life of Joseph, a young man filled with dreams given directly by God, visions of greatness that would one day come to pass through his life. And yet, those who should have loved him most were the very ones who first rejected him. Joseph was betrayed by his own brothers, thrown into a pit, and sold into slavery in a foreign land. If his brothers had accepted him, perhaps Joseph would have stayed where it was comfortable. If they had embraced and protected him, maybe he would have never been forced onto the path that led to Egypt, to the palace, and to the exact position God had already prepared for him. Sometimes, the very people you believe will walk with you forever are the first to push you away. They won't understand your vision. They won't see what God has shown you. You will be tempted to shrink yourself down, to mute the calling within your heart, just to gain acceptance. But remember this, God didn't call you to fit in. He called you to stand apart. He called you to rise, to step forward into places others fear to tread. That's why rejection is not something you should fear. It is something you must learn to embrace as a sacred part of your journey. When you are rejected, do not waste your time chasing after those who cannot see your value. Do not sit in sorrow over doors that have closed. Because if God allowed a door to close, it only means He is opening a far greater one for you. You may not see it right now. You may not understand it in this moment. But if you continue to trust, if you keep walking by faith, you will look back and realize every rejection was actually a blessing. Every closed door was a step closer to God's greater yes. Some of you are still clutching tightly to the pain of rejection. You are still replaying bitter words spoken over you. You are still allowing the opinions of others to chain your sense of worth. But hear me, your worth is not defined by those who rejected you. Your calling is not canceled just because someone else didn't believe in you. If God has called you, that is the only confirmation you will ever need. If God has chosen you, no amount of rejection can stop the plans He has for you. You must shift your perspective. Instead of viewing rejection as a loss, see it as a divine sign that God is moving mightily in your life. He is closing the doors that need to be closed. He is removing the people who cannot walk into your destiny with you. He is making sure that when you step into your new season, you will be in the right place, with the right people, at the right time. Even Jesus Himself faced rejection. He was scorned, mocked, and ridiculed by the very ones He came to save. He was betrayed by those closest to Him. Yet He never let rejection derail His mission. He kept walking. He fulfilled His calling to completion. If even Jesus had to endure rejection, why should we expect to always be embraced? Why should we expect that being chosen means being celebrated? The truth is this: the greater the calling, the greater the rejection. The higher the purpose, the lonelier the road. And I need you to hold on to this truth. Rejection is not the end of your story. It is an essential part of your preparation. Rejection is shaping you. It is refining you. It is making you stronger day by day. Because when you finally step into the place God has destined for you, you will look back and realize every no, every closed door was God whispering, "My beloved, I have something better in store for you." You will see that He was always in control. He was always guiding your steps, silently preparing you for something far greater than anything you ever dared to dream. So next time you face rejection, do not weep. Do not beg for acceptance from places that were never meant for you. Stand tall, lift your head high, And remember, you were never made to blend in. You were made to stand out. And every rejection is pushing you one step closer to the destiny God has prepared for you. We have seen that loneliness and separation are not punishments, but essential parts of God's shaping process. And as you continue to walk this narrow, sacred road, you will face even more challenges that will test your heart in deeper ways. You may build relationships only to see them fade. You may try to connect only to feel the bond slipping away. There will come nights when you sit in the silence wondering, why? Why do I always feel like I don't belong? Why is my journey so different from everyone else? And the answer, my friend, is simpler than you think. Because you were never meant to blend in. You were never created to fit where you don't belong. You were born to walk a path no one else could walk. There is something sacred within you, a divine seed, God Himself, planted, set apart for a purpose far greater than what your eyes can see right now. And such a purpose requires a different road, a road few will understand, a road that demands strength, resilience, and unwavering faith. Carrying a great calling comes with a great weight, and loneliness often walks hand in hand with destiny. If you're not careful, you might begin to resent the very thing that makes you special. You might start to see your uniqueness as a burden instead of a blessing. You might wonder, what's wrong with me? Why do I think differently, move differently, and refuse to settle like everyone else? But hear me clearly. Your difference is not a curse. It is proof that God's hand is upon your life. It is evidence that He is calling you higher, farther, into a destiny more magnificent than you have ever dared to imagine. And yes, the process will not be easy. It means you will lose some people along the way. It means you will endure seasons of deep loneliness where no one seems to understand you. It means you will have to walk through doors alone, armed only with the faith that if God led you there, He will sustain you. You will have to make decisions others will never understand, choices that require faith over logic, sacrifices that demand everything inside you. Look at Moses. He grew up in the luxury of Pharaoh's palace, surrounded by wealth, privilege, and power. Yet deep inside, Moses knew he didn't belong there. He could have stayed. He could have lived an easy life. But the greater calling pulled him away from comfort, away from royalty, into the wilderness, into a season where the only thing he had was God Himself. Some of you right now are in that wilderness. You feel like you're walking alone, separated from everything familiar. You wonder, maybe I missed it. Maybe I did something wrong. But I need you to hear me clearly. This is not punishment. This is preparation. God is not isolating you to harm you. He is setting you apart to prepare you. He is teaching you to rely fully on Him, to trust Him even when the path ahead is shrouded in fog. He is teaching you to walk by faith, even when you cannot see what's waiting beyond the mist. And then when the time is right, when God lifts the veil and reveals all that He has prepared for you, you will look back and be overwhelmed with awe. Every lonely season, every painful decision, every moment of feeling lost, each one was a necessary piece of the puzzle. Every step was orchestrated by His hand to shape you into the strongest, truest version of yourself. Fully equipped for the mighty mission ahead, you will realize that through it all, God never left your side, not even for a moment. He was silently preparing you, molding you, strengthening you, day after day. If loneliness is the first step in the preparation process, then trials are the refining fire essential for shaping the chosen ones. And no one exemplifies this truth more clearly than David. Think about David. When the prophet anointed him king, he was nothing more than a forgotten shepherd boy, tending flocks across endless fields. He wasn't seated on a throne. He wasn't draped in royal robes. He wasn't living in a grand palace. In fact, his own family barely acknowledged him. They left him outside in the fields, treating his existence as insignificant. And yet, after receiving the anointing, after being divinely confirmed as chosen, David's life didn't become easier, it became far more difficult. He had to flee for his life. He had to hide in dark caves. He had to endure betrayal from those he once trusted, face giants, and fight battles he never imagined. But every lonely night, every painful moment, every season of uncertainty, it was never wasted. It was all shaping him, refining him, molding him into the king he was destined to become. Some of you are walking through that very season right now. You feel cast aside, forgotten, crushed under the weight of life. You have remained faithful. Yet the doors you've knocked on remain closed. You have obeyed. Yet the road before you is littered with stones and thorns, uneven and harsh. You start to wonder, do I have the strength to keep going? You quietly ask, if God truly chose me, why is this path so hard? But let me gently remind you, full of hope, just because you have not yet seen the promise fulfilled does not mean it isn't on its way. Just because you are wandering the wilderness does not mean you have lost your way. God is not punishing you. He is preparing you. He is quietly fortifying your strength in the silence. He is patiently cultivating your character in hidden places, in the sacred solitude between you and Him. He is teaching you to trust even when everything around you seems dark and silent. Because when the time comes, when the door to your destiny swings open, you won't just be ready, you will be unshakable. And here's the truth you must hold on to. Not everyone will understand this process. Not everyone will see what God is doing inside you. Some will doubt you. Some will walk away. Some will turn their backs. At the moment you need them most, not because you failed, but because they cannot recognize what's being cultivated within you. But please, don't let their misunderstanding cause you to question what God has already confirmed. Don't let their rejection make you doubt your worth. If people walk away, let them go. If a door closes, trust it wasn't meant for you. If the journey feels harder than you ever expected, you know this. It's because what God is building in you is greater than anything you've ever dreamed. The chosen ones will always face the fiercest battles. They will always carry the heaviest burdens. But they will also walk in the greatest power. Because when you have been tested, when you have been refined by fire, when you have walked through the valley and still clung to your faith, nothing can shake you. So don't be discouraged by the process. Don't let hardship blur your vision of the promise. Keep walking even when your legs are weary. Keep trusting even when you see nothing ahead. Keep standing firm, because what God has spoken over your life will never return void. And when that moment comes, when your preparation is complete, when everything He has molded within you is ready, no force in this world will be able to stop you. Stay faithful, stay strong, because your time is coming sooner than you think.